Hello, and welcome to the Bold Black Girls podcast. I'm Aries.
And I'm Kim.
And we are, we only got a couple more weeks for the season.
For the year.
Because y'all, we making some order up in here for our podcast. Okay, we've been on point.
Structure.
We had some good guests. We got some more coming, but we are gonna, at the end of the year, we're gonna take a couple weeks off and come back refreshed and ready to go.
Right. We said when we came back, there were a couple of things that we wanted to do. One was to share more vulnerability.
Yes.
Right. That's number one. Number two was make time for breaks.
Yes. Because we need to. We'll just be going on and on and on. And we're like, no, let's actually have a date in our minds already that this is the day.
And a stop.
And then we'll come back and with another theme, of something for the next year. And we're already at December.
Girl, this year flew by.
Woo! Lord help us. So,
last time we chatted, so I'm straight off the plane from Chicago.
You are off the plane.
But we'll get more into that later. Yeah. Last time we updated, we talked about Friendsgiving. Thanksgiving had not arrived. We haven't celebrated it. Let's talk about how we celebrated Thanksgiving.
Child, honey, listen.
You wined and dined, okay?
Listen, let me tell
I slaved and cooked.
I was not going to be doing that this year, and I knew I didn't want to, and I didn't feel like it, and nobody was going to make me. And my dad came, and so me, him, and my mom went out to dinner. Nice, we went to Morton's and had a lovely evening. We ate, I had to convince my mom to actually order what she wanted and not be counting my pockets. You know how
really?
Be like, how much is this?
How many pieces can I order?
But no, she's more like, considerate in the way, good. Knowing that I'm paying.
Consideration though.
Honestly. Exactly. But I'm like, anywho, we're
getting what you want.
What are we eating? So we act like we just was doing big things and left with our little to-go plate and we're done. Then I came home and got in my bed under the covers.
I don't like to use the word jealous, but I was a little bit envious, right? Yeah, you called and told me and you're like, where you at it? So I had cooked and then my whole body was hurting. And I didn't cook a lot.
And you left out late. Well, that day you was leaving at 8:00 or something like that, going
like 6, 7. I said 7. So I laid in bed because I was not feeling good after that. I was really, really tired. I was in the kitchen, and when I cook, I don't like distractions. So I was like, I forgot my phone was even in the room. So I'm trying to focus so I don't burn up stuff, right? Because you get distracted. So then after that, I had a family member say, hey, they called me. They're like, I'm coming from Houston. My cousins, you should stop by. But then I was also going by someone else's place.
See, you was doing too much.
I can
tell you that right now. I can tell. But what you talking is making me tired.
But so what I did is I went by Kiara's family's celebration. They rented out a nice little banquet hall, which I thought was a great idea. So everyone's not in the house.
Yeah.
Right. You were spread out. So that was cool. Then I ended up picking up my god baby. He ended up spending the remainder of the weekend with me. So that was good. Then I saw my cousins and then I just really relaxed after that. But I was a little bit like, oh, I want to be served. I want to be dined.
The only cleanup I had was me picking up the tab, honey. That was it.
But it was probably worth it.
It was worth every penny.
And your dad was here for the holiday.
Yep. So I just was like, I'm going to chill. Right. I didn't feel any pressure, but I set that intention and that expectation early. Before he got here. I let him know already, ain't gonna be no Thanksgiving food. I'm just letting you know that now.
I love it.
Because I didn't even really have a taste for Thanksgiving food. So I was just kind of like, we might be doing tacos, right. Which I did make tacos so that the next day after Thanksgiving, there was food ready.
Okay, so vulnerable moment. I was pressured by Mama Tim's.
Okay,
she went on a calling.
I can see that.
I'm telling the bit. I'm gonna spill the tea. She was calling everybody. Like Kimberly said, she don't want to cook, so I'm gonna eat a Marie Calendar TV dinner.
Oh my gosh!
Painting this picture of this neglectful daughter.
Wow!
Right? Black mamas.
And see, what I would have said was, "Well, go on and get your TV dinner then, because I'm."
And I told her that, right? And Kiara was like, you
I'm
fell
probably
for
horrible.
It. She was like, you caved in, mommy. I don't even know why you did that. Right.
See, she know.
So I'm putting it out there. So if anybody listening know Mama Tim's, these black mamas, they'll try and set you up, paying you to be a bad.
But you also need to put it out there that you did not set a boundary and you allowed that pressure to happen.
Absolutely. So guess what Kim is doing? I have set a boundary already for all holidays, Christmas, and moving forward, right? And I'm not going to say I'm a yes person, but I do like to make people feel welcome and accommodating. And sometimes you can accommodate some people where it makes you uncomfortable.
I've been there.
And at this age, I'm approaching a new milestone age. I won't say what it is. I'm not ashamed of it, but I just won't say.
Vulnerability.
I'll be 40. So I will not be uncomfortable.
No. Let me tell you something about 40. Period. Let me just tell you something about 40, okay? Because I've been there. Wow, I'll be 43 in April. So I ain't got no shame in my game by my age. But let me just say this. When I got about 37 is when it started kind of tipping, where I was like, you know what? I like myself. I really started really appreciate. And then I started going into the space of just really liking to spend time with myself. And I just enjoyed it. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do a lot of things that I don't want to do anymore. Right. And it takes time. So it was some time, of practicing that. And there were some times where I didn't do it. And sometimes I did. But the closer I got to 40, I feel like I really just started being like, you know what? And if you got a problem with it, hey, that's your problem. Now, I wouldn't necessarily say it like that. I may say it a different way, but really letting people know in advance, this is what I'm going to be doing. Yep. And however you want to fall in line around that is on you. If you would like to go do something else, then I'm giving you advance notice that this is what Aries is doing. And it's not easy to do.
It is not, because
especially when it's the holidays and stuff.
Yeah, boundaries, they offend people sometimes, right?
No. A lot of the time. Most of the time. Because boundaries are for you. When you're setting a boundary, that is for you.
And for that other person as well.
But they don't know that. They don't know what's for their. I really don't care about what's for your good at this point. I'm just being honest. At this phase in my life, I'm not tripping off of what you feel like. Honestly, if it's what's best for me, and it's not on no selfish stuff, but let's just say, if I know I'm not feeling like cooking and all that, and they're like, well, we want to cook. Okay, well, go do what you need to do. I'm not gonna be like, well, let me go. That's just where I'm at right now. Right. Now, I've been in the place where I've been pressured and I let it happen. And then I didn't like how it felt. And that is why I started saying, you know what? It's on me. I'm the accountable one.
I have to
and that's why I want to hold you to that, because I'm like, we can go and say it's all them and they kept on, but they only could pressure you to the limit that you allow them to do it. Right. Exactly. So you have to say, you know what? That was on me. I'm the one that allowed myself to be peer pressured into this moment. Absolutely. And I can take, because what it is now I can take control of this going forward, and you have the power. You actually have the power. It's not like somebody's forcing you. So we got to own that we control our situation. And
so you control your narrative.
You do. So
you're absolutely right. So thank you for holding me accountable.
Yes, friend.
And again, like I said, I'm putting it out there. I mean, you have to set the intention, and I've already set the expectation. For Christmas. Kim will not be doing anything.
And I was proud of you.
Thank you.
Because you were, last year you had a lot going on during the holiday. Year before last.
It was busy.
And this, so I was waiting to hear you be like, well, I'm gonna let these people come over and all that.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
I have
friend.
to know, I realized too that holidays.
Yeah.
We have been conditioned as a culture on society, that's the tradition. No, you can create what your tradition is.
That's so real.
And a new narrative. And we'll get more into that because we tried to create one this year and it didn't quite work out. However,
but I'll tell you this, when my mom was here and she was like, well, we got to get the tree out and do all this, right? And I was like, honestly, I don't even feel like having no tree out this year.
I have not put up a tree in 3 years.
I said, I really don't. I got a tree up there.
I saw
But that's not the tree. My mom brought that.
Oh, wow. That's
the tree you see in my front. It's a little small tree. She brought a little mini one that actually was mine. and a small little version of a tree, because she just wanted me to have a tree in the house. And I had told her, like, I'm not doing the whole decoration thing because honestly, I don't plan to be here for Christmas. Right. So, you know, my kids are going to be gone and I'm going to be gone too. So,
and it's creating what you want that to look like and not allowing others to project what they want onto you.
And guess what? If you want it, then you need to do it. And guess what? That's what she did.
Exactly. And even if that's family, even if that's your parent, right? My mother did not like me saying that I was not going to cook. She don't like the fact that I told her don't ask me or say anything to me about Christmas. If you want to do it, by all means, baby. If you want to throw down, go throw.
You got plenty of time to prepare.
Yes, you can start on Monday or what? Because Christmas is Sunday.
But you got weeks in advance now, knowing that I don't want to do this. So now we got plenty of time to make arrangements for you to have what you want.
And listen, you know, one of my themes of this year is like, don't be mad at me. Do not be mad at.
I don't care if you're mad at me.
Right.
Be mad at me because I'm gonna be taking care of Aries.
And so sometimes we self-sacrifice for others, and then we're tired. I said we be. I was so care about that. We be.
I say we be.
We are tired. So I'm just like, at this point, like, my no is a firm no. My no is like, no, I have to do what's in the best interest of Kim and what that looks like. Right.
Yeah.
I am going to create that narrative. I already in my mind have envisioned what my December is going to look like, because December is sacred for me.
Oh.
It's the end of the year. That's where how I prepare. So let's kind of get into that, because like preparation for 2022.
Lord, yes. Well, you said that when you was on you went on a trip.
Yeah, I'm fresh off the plane.
Yeah.
Literally. I went to Chicago for a weekend, and literally on the plane, I sat in the exit seat, right? Mm-hmm. So of course, they're like, we need a verbal yes, like that you're committed to doing this. So we had to say yes. However, it was a lady right behind me with 2 kids. And the person that usually does the showing, like kind of illustrating how to put the mask on, he came back and he said, ma'am, I know you have 2 children. He said, but if anything happens, you have to put your mask on first.
Come on, somebody.
He reiterated that.
That was for me. Hey, come on.
I was like, come on, somebody on the plane. And so I nudged I said, you hear that? Like,
put your mask on first.
So let's talk.
Because guess what? The stress and the anxiety and the tired and all that comes to you, not the other people who pressuring you and doing all that. You're going to be complaining, and I'm tired, and I'm this, and I'm stressed, and all that. But some of this is controllable. Okay. We got to and that's why I'm like, see, this is our iron sharpening iron. We have to take accountability for what we can control in our own lives. And that is going to come at the expense of some people, not what you said, setting boundaries. There are going to be people who are not happy with you setting a boundary. It's just going to happen. I'm sorry. And we have to be fed up enough in order to say, well, you know what?
Sorry, it's not going to work.
You know what? Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
I love you, but I love me as well. And so for me to be what I need to be for y'all, I need to be it for myself first. Yeah. That's just what it is. And that's kind of the same thing with, I don't know. It's just, and being in sales, I hear no a lot from customers. And I get people that's like,
people don't like no.
People can say no in a lot of different ways. That doesn't always sound like hell no. Hell no, I ain't gonna do that. That's different than
right now.
You know what? That sounds like a great thing, but it's not the best time for me right now. Yes. Or, I'd like to revisit this in the first quarter.
Yes.
There's different ways that people say no. And I think we need to start getting creative as well, so that you may not be like, I don't want to be mean. Okay, that's fine. But there's other ways that you can say no.
And there are also people need to learn how to accept that no it's just a reality, and no is just what it is, period.
Yeah. It's a part of life.
Like, respect the no. Respect the no.
Because you know what? I heard this, and I don't know what I think this was on one of the shows or something that I feel like me and you talked about it. But when you say no, and so let's say someone asks you a question, right? They want you to say yes. In their mind, when they asked you the question, they were expecting you to say yes, and they want you to say yes. When they're not prepared for your no.
They're not. Yes.
And so when you say no, they got to go into their extra part of trying to convince you as why, or they get an attitude with you because you're saying no. Well, if you knew that you just wanted me to say yes, why you ask the question? You should have been like, this is what I want you to do.
Yep.
But people aren't used to that. And it's like, you gotta be like, you know what? Okay, that's fine. I can respect that. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. Like, people aren't used to just,
they're not,
and I think we got to get better at communicating no's. Like with my kids, there's times where they'll be like really going and they want me to, I'll be like, you know what? I understand. I know. I know you feel very strongly about this, but unfortunately, that's just not what's going to happen. So you're going to have to figure out how you're going to handle that. Like, I'm trying to prepare them now. Like, you need to start, because again, that's when you got people who force themselves, or they're very controlling, and that can turn into a very negative, manipulative things that people can do because they want you to do something
that they want to.
Exactly. And I'm like, nah, you got to start reading that, and you need to learn how to just be like, no.
And that can come off as selfish too. Like you're going to force you because that's what you want. That's selfish. Like 100%. You're not thinking about the other person and how they're going to feel about it and what type of situation. So, I know we have talked about this all year long. The power of no. I think we even did an episode on it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to say no to some things so you can say yes to the right things. And I'm all about saying no, because I could say yes and it could put me in a situation that's going to impact me financially, emotionally, mentally.
You could overcommit yourself to something. And now you're like, oh, I didn't even want to do this. I did that. Remember when my cousin had the wedding and I didn't want to go?
Yes. And
I was like, dang, I'm the only one in my uncle's side of the family that was going to be in attendance. I felt the pressure definitely from people being like, well, go represent us, and type of thing. And I just remember getting up. It was an early flight. I remember. And I was like, I text Kim. I was like, I don't even feel like going to the airport.
You know what that is too? That is listening to your gut.
I was like, I don't even want, she was like, don't go. And I was like, I just needed one confirmation to make me feel okay. This again is one of those moments, just like with you and the food. Yep. I was going to go along with this. Yep. Right. And something like that morning, I just was like, why am I forcing myself to get up at 4 a.m. and be up at the airport and all that? I'm not doing it. And I remember texting them. I had to get my balls and text them and be like, hey, you know what? I had a long day yesterday. I was very tired. I had been doing some nonprofit stuff. And I said, and honestly, I don't have it in me. I'll have to, make it up to them another time, And
you don't necessarily need to make it up.
I don't, but I mean, I was thinking, get them a gift or, whatever it is. And I was just like, they gonna have it, and they weren't mad, they didn't come at me like, oh, dang, it wasn't no issue. Yeah. It wasn't an issue, but I was like, I could have been so afraid that they were going to get mad or whatever that I didn't listen to myself and take care of, and because I closed them eyes and went right on back to sleep.
Listen, and a lot of times when we say yes to things that we shouldn't, that's where error actually comes in.
Yes.
And then, like you said, you have this feeling like, I knew I shouldn't have done that. If I hadn't done it, then this wouldn't have happened.
Anything could happen. You got to listen to that.
You really do. And that's like,
it's trust. We have to trust ourselves.
Trust yourself and trust your gut. God is giving you a sign. And it's okay to say no.
Yeah. Because we on that team, no more strong Black woman.
Oh,
I ain't doing that no more. I've been practicing.
And I have too. Like you have said, I reject the strong Black
woman.
I
reject it.
And I said, I do not accept that.
You know what I had to do to my mom when my dad was here? And now she is selective, but some of the natural just ways that we do things, there are times when she's doing stuff like going to get the trash out and going to grab, and she dragging the first of all, my mom had back surgery this summer.
Right.
What the heck are you doing?
That's that Gemini energy.
And so I said, excuse you, you got a grown man sitting on the couch right here. Would you let him get that trash right here in front of him? Right. And he was sitting there minding his business, watching sports. Put that bag down and ask that man to pick that bag up for you and take it out. He'll be glad to.
And what did he do?
Get up and get that bag and take it out.
So you made.
She's like, you right. Because I had already, because we had that conversation, and I'm like, we're just so used to taking care of ourselves that it's natural, So I'm like, wait, we got a man here. Let him
be a man.
Be a man. And even with the boys, I'm doing the same thing with them.
I love it.
I'd be like, can you help mom out with this?
And guess what you're doing?
It takes effort.
Generations of you're building a generation of men who will be willing to help.
I'm helping myself and I'm helping them.
Yes.
I definitely believe that that's what's happening.
And their future wives.
Because I'll be like, LJ, mom needs your help. Instead of being like, get in here and come do this, because I also think about how I want them to be talked to.
Right.
What kind of women do I want for trash? What kind of woman do I want them to be attracted to? Right. Someone who talk crazy to them and disrespects them?
Listen, no. I'm gonna tell you. If a man yells, ooh.
I don't play that.
I don't. Immediate red flag.
And see, my mom was in an abusive marriage for some years when I was growing up. And I've been I'm sensitive to how people talk to me. Don't call me on my name. Yes. Don't yell at me.
Yes.
You yell at me.
A man that yells or curse, I'm telling you,
I'm done.
I shut down. My dad did not talk to me like that.
My dad don't even cuss around me.
And so it's just like, okay, well, I don't even need to be here in this space. I don't even need to talk to you.
Because once you get like that, I'm like, oh, because next thing you're going to do is try to raise your hand. That's how I think. If you call me a B or yell at me, then you'll hit. And then I have to kill you.
I just don't know what you're capable of if you have no behavioral self-control.
Exactly.
Let's just say that.
You can't control your emotions.
Yes.
Which is why I work so hard on controlling my own. Like even when I'm getting like mad at the kids or yelling at them, I'll be like, you know what? I apologize to them. I'll be like, because I told them that I don't want to yell so that they hold me accountable. Mm-hmm. And if I lose control or something, which I did like a month ago, and I was going off on Marvin, I was hot. He was pissing me off. And I was just like, oh, I felt so guilty. I said, this one, I know I got the Holy Spirit. And I know that God like speaks to me about my own behavior.
Yes.
Because I went to bed that night pissed. I woke up feeling like doo-doo. And then I apologized to my son, before he left for school. I said, Mom, I'm sorry. I lost control and I did not have control of my emotions and I'm working on it. And I want to be better. He was like, okay, because I want him to do, I'm telling you to do that, but I'm not doing it.
Exactly. I've had to apologize to Kiara, just having general conversations and even like addressing generational, like I apologize. And she was like, I understand, thank you.
Because we need to do that, y'all.
We do. And I don't feel like parents apologize for their behavior. Like if it's wrong, like just go ahead and apologize. And so I feel like you and I are breaking generational cycles on certain things and behaviors. I want to have a healthy relationship.
Me too.
Right, with my child.
And that comes from a lot of like communicating, right? And that comes from saying no. It comes from setting boundaries. It comes from, being honest.
Right.
Like even when they were little, I'll be like, Mommy is doing something right now. I will get to you when I get some time, when I get a chance. Okay. Yeah. You're going to have to wait until I'm done doing what I'm doing so that I prioritize. They understand that it ain't all about you. I have things that I have to do. And that don't mean I don't love you. I'm not going to drop what I'm doing just because you asked me right now. Listen, I can do it later.
I used to tell Kiara, I said, it's not all about you, honey.
Yes.
All the time. Like, yes, I love and care for you, but it's not all about you. And then one day, I don't know how old she was. Remember that year she told me I asked her to fold some cover? I said, hey.
I'm not obligated.
I'm not obligated. I said, you have just given me a word, honey. And I wore that word out for her for the whole year.
You did.
Right. And and she hated that she said that to me. I was like,
we wore that word out all year.
The whole village.
I'm not obligated.
The village. Thank you, Kiara.
I sure used it to all the kids too.
I'm not obligated.
I said, I'm not obligated. You just need to understand. And I still do this. I go, what I do for you, a lot of it, I'm going above and beyond my call of duty. As a mom, I don't have to do this. Yes. A lot of parents don't do these things.
I am not a basic mom.
These are things that I'm doing because I'm investing in you.
The kids got golf clubs, y'all.
Golf ain't cheap either. I'll be like,
I
remind they butts.
Excellent.
Marvin just got on a travel baseball team. And
that's not cheap either.
It costs as much as some dang on braces. All right. So when they talk about this, what I said, look inside your mouth. That's $6,000 in your mouth.
Oh, that's your grill.
You got $6,000 in your mouth right now. Okay. Don't be talking to me about no. Anyway, so yeah, that's why I don't feel guilty when I take care of myself, because I'm like,
let's talk about the guilt.
Ain't no guilt over here.
And I had mom guilt for I had guilt just period. And I've just gotten over the guilt.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Like, how are you planning for 2022? Because you and I we tried to plan a trip for the holidays,
for Christmas,
and it didn't work out, which flights were too expensive, schedules.
Well, because I'm trying to pay for 3 people. Yes. When I go on trips and I'm taking my kids most of the time with me. That's 3 flights. And then when you go to a resort, like all inclusive or whatever, they still charge you. Some of them might have kids are free, but you got to have at least 2 adults to get 2 kids for free.
Right.
Otherwise, I'm paying for 2 adults in a room and it costs per person. Right. So I'd be like, man, that's $5,000-$6,000 for me and them to go on a trip during Christmas. And I was like, you know what, Jesus? What we about to do is, because their dad going out of town too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the following week. So I said, hey, let me take a note from his book, you know? Yep. And I'm going to have him watch his kids.
Because there was no guilt there.
And I said, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going on a trip in my little rocket ship by myself.
People teach you. You can learn from people.
I learn from people. I'll be like, you know what?
Look what they did.
And
they
wasn't
were bold enough.
And hey,
I'm going to be bold too.
They got a good dad. And he going to be right there. And you know what? They're going to be safe. And I'm going to be gone.
I was so proud of you when you called me. And you said, I booked the trip. I booked the solo trip.
Yep.
And I was like, you know what? And you shouldn't feel guilty because you took them this year on a 10-day trip to Mexico. So it's like, like you said, you go above and beyond.
And I was honest with them. Like when they were the first people I told, you know, because I wasn't going to say nothing until later. And I just was like, hey, y'all, you're going to be with dad. And then you'll be with me the next week. Right. And they're like, where are you going? And I told them where I was going. We want to go. I said, look, you've already been there. You know what? You know, this is for me. And I'll take y'all somewhere for spring break. We'll go plan something else later when it's more convenient. I said, and I told them, I said, because when we go on trips, you know, I'm paying for 3 people.
Listen,
it costs per person. That's a lot of money.
And they need to know that. That's good that they need to know for reasons of their futures and what they want to do. Right. I had to tell Kiara the same thing. She would get upset when I would go on trips with other people. And I said, Kiara, you have to understand that when I go with them, I'm splitting rooms. Right. I buy my flight. It's just me. When you and I go, I'm responsible for everything.
Yes.
And I just had to be very frank and vulnerable and honest with her, right? I said, child support does not pay for that, boo-boo. Child support does not cover vacation. I am not a basic mom.
And you know, when dudes be saying, she going on trips and she got your child support check. First of all, it ain't.
Sorry.
No.
Sorry.
That ain't it. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
That ain't what we do.
It's barely paying, depending on who the daddy is and what he doing. It's barely covering passport fees. Tips too. But anywho,
I just pay for my kids to get global entry.
So that's a whole nother vulnerable moment where because she said, well, you get child support. I said, ma'am, let me break this down for you. Right? No. And he tried to tell her that too. Like, oh, I give her child support. That's included. Sorry.
It's not included. I'm sorry.
No, it is not.
That's a whole nother. We're going to talk about co-parenting on another episode, but still knowing that it's okay to take care of yourself.
And don't feel guilty about it.
I just was so free.
Whether you have children or not.
I was like, book, adult only resort.
I was like, not only am I proud, but I'm inspired.
Look, that's why I think some of this happens. You know, we talked about our friend Sarah and her taking her son on that trip. She was inspired by us going on a trip with the boys and Kiara that time. So you never know who that may be a trip that you need to take. And what I'm going to do with my trip is I'm going to use that as a time for me to relax, to decompress, to write out my vision for the year and what I want to do and get my calendar together and plan and just do nothing on some days. But I'm going to take that time out for myself to truly retreat. Because I also was like, you know, typically I'll ask friends to go. Yes. And I was like, you know what? No, you're going to do this one by yourself.
I love it.
Because even taking friends, now I'm just going to be, you know, hanging out and doing stuff and not necessarily using that time for what I want to use it for. So I'll fill y'all in when I get back, you know what I'm saying? But, you know,
I love it. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm not going anywhere, but I decided that I would have downtime. Mm-hmm. I did have a family member reach out and wanted to come for the holidays. And I did have to just give I had to be honest. And I was like, no, it just does not work for me in my timeline. And I know how I feel around the holidays as well. Like being honest with myself, like, when I show up, I want to show up as my full self. But during the holidays, I know how I feel, right? Sometimes I may want to congregate and socialize, but then sometimes I want to retreat into solitude. And, people think, oh, she's acting funny. Like, no, I'm processing different things. When you have lost a parent, holidays can become harder.
Yeah.
And so you need to recognize what are your triggers and what are those feelings. And I realized that as I've become older, the traditions that I've had, like, set of the past, I don't decorate. I don't have any small kids. So I don't have to do all of that. And I love it here, actually.
Exactly.
I really love it here. And I embrace it. And so as part of embracing that season, I have to realize, like, okay, well, what do you envision for your December? Is sacred.
Yeah. And sacred. I'll tell you something that I started when the kids were young, and I don't even know why. I mean, I kind of do. Because when I was younger, I feel like it was so much pressure and we didn't have no money. Ooh, like we out here getting all these gifts and all this stuff. And it's like people going broke and in debt and all that. And one thing I never did with my kids was make a big deal out of like the gifts.
Yes, that's smart.
And not to be like cheap. They would get something. I'd be like, y'all need to come together and come up with something that you want. And I would tell them to pick something big. If y'all want something big, it'll be something big. But like, we're not about to have 25 gifts under the tree. Yes. That's not something that I've ever done. And so it's to the point now where like, they don't really ask me for anything.
I love it.
Whatever I give my kids is usually just a surprise because I know what they like and stuff like that. But usually they're not like saying, this is what I want for Christmas. Because they pretty much could get whatever they want.
Say they get is what they get throughout the year.
And so I don't even buy toys or any of that. It's
Things
just
have just changed. And we need to really embrace changing what traditions look like for you and your family. Like for Kiara and I, we've already set and said that we want our tradition, like, as she's gotten older, to be on a beach somewhere during December, right? Somebody catering to me,
eating grapes off the
girl. Somebody feeding me grapes. Somebody's son. I said, you're gonna have a stepdaddy and you're gonna see him feeding me grapes.
Listen, I'm here to manifest the stepdaddy.
Thank you.
Manifest the stepdaddy.
Manifest. Not the one on Netflix, y'all.
Yeah, but still, like, that is so real. I think we gotta, first of all, you gotta work on being honest with yourself about what you want. Yes. And if you're not getting it, what is my contribution to why I'm not getting what I want?
I love it.
Because sometimes we just get this laundry list of people to blame for why we don't have what we have. And if he wasn't like this, then I wouldn't be like this and all that. What can you change?
Right.
Because I'll tell you, when I want to do something different and I tell the boys, okay, we're doing this. And they be like, they'll jump on board with the plan. You just got to set that up so that, maybe right now you're not doing it the way that you want to do it. Well, now you could be like, look, guys, from this point on, this is how it's going to go, and just start doing it.
Just start. I love that. Just because a lot of times we aren't intentional about what we want, and being real about like you said, like, how am I contributing or how am I not contributing to this manifestation?
Accountability is hard to do.
Yeah. That's why you gotta, like you said, for me, having you has been great, like in terms of accountability, and you have friends who sharpen you. Mm-hmm. And I'm intentional about my, friendships in terms of, like, I have friends, we talked about this on Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Who you're a trailblazer. Like, you'll start, I'm like, you know what? Yep. Let's do this, right?
Like, this is what I'm about to do. He's like, okay, good.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh, this is what I did. This is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we feed off of each other. So you need people to hold you accountable. Even like with the whole Christmas, I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not decorating. So I haven't decorated in the last 3 years. I'm not forcing myself to do that. Yeah. I'm not conforming.
Because there's a lot of stuff that we just be doing.
Yes.
And I could feel it. I feel myself when things are going on and I sense that it's like a fad or everybody's doing this. And I'll be like, I don't want to do it though.
Right. So, and I want to be different. And
I'm okay with it.
Right. I really wish I would have done that early on. Like, I ended up switching like later on because I did. It was like her first or second Christmas, and her birthday is like Christmas Eve.
Yes.
So I was like, oh, she got to have all these gifts because I want to make sure she knows the difference between birthday and Christmas.
Yes.
So, and then I was like, Kim, now you got to pay this debt for the next 12 months. So my tip to everybody with that is buy something they need, something they want, like have 4 gifts, maybe max, and save for it. Like I have a Christmas club account that I contribute to every month. And at the end of the year, I have whatever I've set for myself. So I'm not going into debt and I stick to that. And then it was like, it's quality, not quantity.
And pick who you want to buy gifts for in advance.
Yes.
And don't
waver.
Go off of that.
Do not.
And I don't really have a lot of people I buy gifts for like that.
And sometimes it's not. The gift could be quality time.
Really
I take quality time. They be like, hey, you want to go to a concert? That's a gift.
Yeah.
Quality time is major because the way people are leaving this earth.
Yeah. And me and some of my girlfriends, we got a Elfster account.
What is that?
Elfster is you go on there, you set up wish lists, you set up a group. So it's like me, Stephanie, Angela, and Andrea. And what it does, it'll do a secret Santa of all the names that were in there. And they'll tell you, Aries, you have Kim, right? And then you set up your wish list, just putting different stuff in there. And I'll pick what I want to get for you, and then y'all could say, let's say stuff that's $50 or less, or you could set whatever limit you want or none. And then, you get the gifts and that's how so that way you're not having to buy a gift for everybody. And if you got 5 friends, you're not buying for all. You like, okay, well, I got you got her, she got, this person. And so we're having a dinner. And then we'll do the gift exchange at the dinner.
Oh my gosh, that's such a great idea.
We were like, let's just do something different where we can dress up a little bit, go somewhere nice.
And you're not buying a gift for everyone, but everyone gets a gift.
Exactly.
Because holidays become stressful, right? We have to learn how to manage our stress and what works for us. Like if you don't have a budget for a gift, be honest. Like, hey, I am focusing on saving for a house or whatever it is. People should not get offended. If they do, then they probably shouldn't be your friend.
That is so true. Okay, so what is a good call to action for today?
I love how you said be honest with yourself, right?
Yes.
In manifesting and enforcing boundaries. Oh, be honest with yourself. And then the other one, setting your intentions for the new year. I did a vision board party yesterday last year with my therapist.
I was like,
no, with my therapist. And it was amazing.
Did she do it? Or you did it just with her?
No, she did a session.
Oh, okay.
She had hosted an event.
What is she doing at
this? If she does, I will invite you. And I did it, and I set my word of the year. That stuff manifested.
It does.
The only thing that didn't manifest, but that's because I need to figure out why I'm not. How am I not contributing to that? I have to figure out, is this stepdaddy?
I know. Well, you ain't going out with nobody. You ain't putting yourself out there. That's gonna be it. You can't find a man while you in the house, child. You got to
girl, and I'm really not trying to find him. You better find me.
But he ain't gonna find you while you in your covers.
I know, girl, because I just girl, them covers be.
I know.
They don't be letting me go.
Well, what you want? You want the covers by yourself, or you want one with?
You want to be covered? Do you want to be covered, or you want the cover?
Hey,
I want both, Lord. Can I have both? I'm gonna work on my word of the year. Last year mine was bloom, and I feel like I have bloomed throughout the year, personally, professionally. Pray about it. Retreat. Ask God during your and then last but not least, enforce those boundaries.
And you speaking to yourself out of your mouth right back into your ears. Come on, somebody. We're gonna enforce these boundaries now. You have to. It helps everybody. At the end of the day, it helps everybody. Even the ones that get mad when you say they don't even know
at my boundaries.
They don't even know that it's helping them.
Stay mad at the boundaries. And you know what I told her? This is what I said. My therapist said, "You're this therapist lady.
Got you healing and carrying."
Yeah, I love it. I love it. We should be on TikTok with our boundaries. I was like,
yeah, this is for us. And as Black women,
child.
I should have said that from the beginning, but y'all know, as Black women, we have to do it because guess what? People will just, as long as we are available and as long as we keep doing it, they will keep on utilizing you and exploiting you. So we got to start letting people know. I would like to get paid for this opportunity. No, I would like to. I know my value and my worth, and it's a lot of areas where those boundaries need to be set.
Personally, professionally.
Yeah.
Listen.
So we got to make sure we understand what we're bringing and that it is valuable. It's valuable to us enough to prioritize ourselves.
Prioritize ourselves.
Woo! Come on, somebody.
Oh, this right here was not a word for everyone else, but for us as well.
It really is. And yeah, I already know what I'm about to, start working on some things, but
I'm looking forward to the new year.
We are, like we said, we only got 3 weeks left. So let's start just getting our minds right and start thinking about things. And what do we need to focus on? Do we need to read some books to start learning about some stuff? Do we need to go start looking for a therapist? Do we need to cut some people out of our lives? Do we need to untie from some people?
Do we need a career coach?
Do we need a physical therapy? What is it called? What's the people called that do the when you get workout?
A chiropractor?
No, a coach. I mean, a trainer. Do we need a trainer for our physical health? Do we need a nutritionist? What do we need? Figure out what you need.
What do we need based on what do we want for the new upcoming
going forward
that will help contribute.
Because I'm gonna tell y'all, I prepared in July when I started that program with McKinsey, the Black Leadership Academy.
Yes.
Because I knew that around this next year that I wanted to shift into some other things.
Yes.
So I started prepping for that. And already as this year is coming around, that is manifesting into some things. So we're going to see what happened in the new year and what we're talking about. But I'm just saying, look, you better set your intentions and start speaking it to yourself. Write it down, all that, because I believe that, things are coming to pass that we put out there. So don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Make the vision plain.
Exactly. All right, y'all. I think this was a good little discussion.
We just
went off. We good for going off on some stuff.
Right.
Hopefully y'all got something out of that. We ask that you would continue to support the podcast through subscribing to our YouTube channel, as well as our podcast platform, wherever you are listening to this. We ask that you would also go to our YouTube. We're about 600 and something subscribers now. We're on our road to 1,000. All we need is a couple more hundred. So we just need a few more of y'all to go over there and subscribe. And we appreciate all the support. We ask you to rate us, review us, if your platform provides that opportunity. And we will see y'all next week.
Ooh.
Have a bold week. See you later.
All right. Peace.